Dr. B here. Please give it a listen, a watch. Fantastic Deals and Dreams pilot series. I interviewed a lot of folks in the real estate and or business world. I hope you enjoy this episode. Enjoy. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of my show. I have the great Adriana Minano. Adriana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic this spring morning. Not sure when it will air, so I will not date it. But let's jump right into it. Tell everyone about yourself.
I'm a healthcare technology executive with 17 years experience, leading small to large teams, scaling organizations, and I'm a full-time mom.
I love that. That was great. See,
Okay.
that wasn't too bad.
And you'll figure out which one to take. I don't know. I don't do like 30-second elevator pitches very well, so.
That's all right. All good, all good. Hey, so my next question to you is: you went to SUNY Cortland, and of course, you went to LIU like me. Only you went to Post, and I went to Brooklyn, the campus. So shout out to those Blackbirds, but now they're Sharks, whatever.
Is that what they are? I don't even know.
How has education helped you in what you're doing today and what you're doing today? Sorry.
Um, if I can be honest, I don't know how much it helped me. I think it might have gotten me in the door or opened some opportunities to me. And I think there is a takeaway that I had from a CEO that said this to me years ago, and he said, college really isn't anything other than proof that you know how to learn. So I think that you know it did a little bit in terms of educating me, but it didn't do much in terms of preparing me for the real world and for reality. Most of the skills that I learned were on the job. So, I studied economics and finance, and all those things were great. I guess maybe if you're a doctor, it's relevant, or if you're an attorney, but it didn't do much for me, other than maybe giving me opportunities to get better roles.
Yeah, for me it was about the networking, some concepts, but then yeah, I really learned a lot post college, right? Through masterminds and stuff like that. So
Right,
you gotta be
right. From working with people, from being around people with experience, getting their wisdom, that's really where I got my education.
yeah,
So,
same working with
sorry,
mentors.
college people.
That's all right. Yeah, no, also working with mentors also has helped me a lot too. So folks that have
Oh, a
like
hundred
three, four
percent.
steps ahead of me, right? So
100%. Mentors, coaches, peers, things like that were tremendously helpful to me.
yep, no, I love it. I love it. How important, we were talking about this before we hit record, right? How important is it to network? You're part of Chief, I believe, member of the Association of Croatian American Professionals, and you do other stuff, right? So, how important is networking to you in your career and business?
I think networking is critical. I wish I knew that, 10 or 15 years ago when I was younger and didn't really understand. I know that I had been brought to some events way back when, and I didn't really understand the value or the purpose, and now I do. Um, I think Chief has been incredible for me because it really opened me up to meeting other women who are in leadership, going through similar challenges and trying to, overcome the same hurdles that I'm trying to overcome, whether it be, being a woman in the workplace, being a mom and working full time, or, just challenges, leading people and operationally and whatever it might be. It's been very fruitful. I highly recommend it to people. It actually ignited something with myself and a couple of other ladies that I've met through this networking process. And we're starting a small organization out here on Long Island because we feel that there isn't a lot of access to networking, for women out here as well. And I've come across many in different areas of business, different levels, who have basically said, "I don't know who to network with. I don't know where to go." So we're kicking off something small out here, and we'll see how it goes. So more to come.
I love that. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes if there's a what is it? If there's not a door, what is it? Create one. Right? If
Yes,
there's not,
I
right?
like that. I'm going to keep that. I
There
might
you
use
go.
that in like a future LinkedIn post.
There you go. You take it from me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that. I love that. So you've worked in various roles in healthcare technology, most recently working in an organization close to 10 years. So what have you picked up experience wise from from everything you've learned up to this point?
Oh, wow. So working in a startup, I think was a really wonderful experience because it gave me a lot of exposure to how to really build a company, how to grow a company, how to struggle to achieve things with minimal resources and funding. So I think that was a super important lesson to learn. It really pushed the innovative part of me and how I could use technology, leverage, individual resources to really come up with creative ways to solve problems. Um, so I really, if you have it in you and you're scrappy, I highly recommend trying to start somewhere in a startup because it's a super, super amazing experience. And it gave me a lot of experiences, for lack of a better other word, that I might not have otherwise gotten if I went to a larger organization.
Yeah, I feel like you wear a lot of hats, right, in a startup or
My God, you wear every hat,
every hat.
right?
Yeah,
You don't have money, you don't have funding, you have to just figure it out. You have to make do. You are the accountant, you're the customer service person, you're the technology person, you're doing everything. And I think that's a really, really great way of like expanding upon your skill sets and also identifying what you really like. I
yeah,
feel like a lot of people just like pick a path and they say, I want to be, a stockbroker. And it's like, well, how do you know if you didn't get an opportunity to try other things? So it gave me the avenues to explore and see what I was really good at and see what I didn't like so much. And that's sort of how my career developed.
and that's why I delegate a lot of what I do.
Well, delegation's part of it, as you
Part of
know.
it,
It
right?
is. But people put such a bad connotation on delegation, and it's really not a bad
Not
word.
bad. Yeah, it's
It's
not all that bad.
it's about growing into a strategic thinker,
Yeah,
doing less of the task work, and being more strategic about how you accomplish things, how you get them done. There's a lot of project management, I think,
yeah.
in leadership, and that's where the delegation comes from.
No, agreed, 100%. Um, you're big in IT, right? So, what is the most effective way to leverage IT when it comes to healthcare technology? I know you've done that your whole career. Can you provide a specific example? It could be obviously without keeping the people anonymous or the situation anonymous.
Well, I mean, I think I can give a more like generalized example, and
Yeah,
I'm seeing it a lot more in the industry lately as I've been sort of exploring what's going on out there. Um, Healthcare data is obviously very insightful. There's so many ways and avenues that you can use data to really leverage the information for potential revenue streams or improving patient outcomes or identifying gaps in service. So I think the really big trend or what I'm seeing a lot lately is a lot of this analytics and AI and predictive modeling that's being used to improve the overall patient experience and honestly, let's be real here, to make money. So if you're identifying patients with chronic illnesses and you know that getting them to the doctor sooner is going to maximize your savings and you're a payer, you're going to want to come up with programs around that. So technology, I think, and the insight into the data and taking dirty data, which is essentially what it is, and making it streamlined and readable has become such a thing. So I think that's the direction that I'm seeing a lot of these organizations go in. It's that services are surrounded by how we're using analytics and AI to determine what we should do next.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a big trend of that as well, right? That's a big
Mhm.
buzzword, the ChatGPT and chatbot.
Patient engagement, like, yeah, all of that stuff. It's the hot topic, I think, right now.
Yeah, no, agreed, 100%. Very good answer. So according to HubSpot, you speaking of customer relations, right? So customer relations refers to a method companies use to engage with its customers and improve the customer experience. I think you already alluded to this. So in your years of experience, how is this important, especially in what you do?
Well, customer relations, I think, is important in any job that you do, right? Whether you're selling ice cream at the ice cream shop or, you're working on Wall Street. So I think it's all about those touch points, the way that you're communicating with the customer, how you're eliciting feedback, how you're informing them of what's going on, your level of transparency. I think all of that has to do with customer relations. Um, you know, HubSpot or Salesforce or all of these CRMs, the whole concept of it is to operationalize your customer communication process. So if you're utilizing a tool or you're not utilizing a tool, it's all about coming up with a system or a way of keeping your customers engaged. And I really think that that's a huge component of client relations.
No, great point. Yeah, they all yeah, no matter what the CRM is, right? That's the whole point, right? Keep you efficient, and help you as best as possible. Give the customer the best experience possible, right? So agreed, 100% there. So also, I was looking at your background. All these questions are customized. These are never cookie cut. Every question, every interview is different, right? So,
I would hope so, right?
but however, I do have a framework which if you've listened to other episodes, the framework will be the same, but the questions are different.
Right,
So
right.
all good, all good. So I've been doing, I guess, what 70 episodes at this point. So I'm doing something right, right?
And you have the cool microphone, which I do not have today. So
You will, you will, you will.
I always wanted to like sit in a room, have the microphone, have the headphones, and do the whole.
You will, you will. I don't like the headphones piece, so that's why I have my speaker very loud at the moment. So.
Oh, really? Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm like echoing in
yeah,
the
you are echoing in
I'm
my basement.
sorry.
It's okay,
And
it's
I'm a
all
loud talker as it is, so.
right. So, lean operations. So, I know you. That's a little bit about your background. Can you provide an example of aligning technical and operation goals for the good of the company?
I feel like that's everything you do, right? So, we were a SaaS-based company, right? So everything that we did was about improving the system and improving the overall operations of the organization as well as the customer experience. Technology in general just produces efficiency. If you know how to design it and leverage it appropriately, you can minimize the need for, human, I don't want to say labor because you always need people, but the laborious tasks that take away from the things that are really important. I think that's always the first thing, right? Can you automate something that's a generic task or a daily task? Can you take that automation to another level and provide, analytical insights into what's happening in the organization, so that you can take action upon them? And action could be, producing a new product, producing a functionality within your tool. It could be changing, a service or how you charge for a service. So I think that you can use technology in a lot of ways to maximize your operations, not just from an efficiency standpoint, but from an overall delivery standpoint.
I love it. And then this, you could use this with any vertical, correct? Doesn't matter
I
what.
mean, yeah, technology is, transferable. You can use it in anything, really. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't pick an industry. It's used everywhere, as we're seeing, right, in our daily lives. It's completely changing the way we exist.
Got it. My final question, one of my final questions is, if what advice would you give someone um, looking to leverage technology more, whether it's in their career or business? So what that's a very I know it's a very general question, but Or what advice
It's
would
a
you give?
general question, but honestly, I think there's a very general answer of do your research. Don't just buy a tool because it has all the bells and whistles. Don't listen to what other people are saying. Do your own research. Find comparable options. Understand your needs or your organization's needs. Come up with a good list of what are the must-haves, the nice-to-haves, and the, what can I live without entirely, and really figure that out and find something that makes sense for you. If you're not tech savvy, don't go and get something that's super complicated. Get something that's simpler for you to use. So I know a lot of people are deterred from maybe starting a business or doing something because they don't feel like they're familiar with technology. There are so many tools out there that can be used to really improve the way that you do things and improve your business. And the most important thing for me is to research. You don't buy first, you always research. And you would do that with anything. You wouldn't buy a house or a car without driving it first or doing a walkthrough. So when you're thinking about technology and how to use it, go out there, get demos, look at it, try trial versions, tinker with it, see if it makes sense for you. Yeah, that would be my most basic advice for anyone who's trying to explore just general technology.
I love that. And then a very small pivot, and we're almost done. Uh, any advice when it comes to networking for either entrepreneur or even someone who's in business and a sales role? So, is it joining or not just any chamber of commerce? Is it joining industry specific organizations? Is it joining where your ideal client is? What advice would you give someone who's looking to expand their network or looking to network more?
Um, it's a good question. I think the one advice I would give is don't be afraid to network. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself to people. You'd be surprised how many people are receptive to that and really want to talk to you, or just get to know somebody else. Because I think we've gotten in a point in our lives where because of technology, we're lonelier and we're more isolated. But yeah, I would think try to be focused on what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to achieve. If you are in technology, you probably, for your career, would do better participating in networking organizations that are specific to technology. But don't say no to other types of organizations that might open you up to other industries because you never know when you'll make a pivot in your life. I'm not saying I would go and join like a real estate networking group because I'm not in real estate, right? But Chief, for example, has women from all different work streams, and it's wonderful meeting all of them because I learned something different from each of them. But I also am part of a technology organization. So I would say try to be intentional, but and also just don't be afraid. It's everybody is trying to figure out how to introduce themselves to somebody, and I think that's a huge deterrent for most people. They don't want to do it or they're afraid to do it, and it's really not a big deal.
I agree. I agree 100%. Worst case, always come to me.
Right? Worst case, just get the intro and you're good to go. And then, that's how we met,
So
right?
I
We
met
got an
right.
intro from somebody else and
Yeah.
we've spoken a bunch of times already. And that's how it is. And, you end up making some really good friends.
Yeah.
So why not? Like
Exactly.
what harm is there in that?
Exactly. Exactly. Now, final question. Uh, First of all, thank you so much for being on my show. I think it was very informative, very say conversational, and I think it's yeah very informative for my audience. So, where can people find more information about you? How can they contact you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, which is linkedin.com/ Adriana Minano, another backslash. Um, that's, if you want to have a conversation with me, I have a Calendly on there. My email's available on there. And that's where you'll probably hear about some updates about the new org that we're starting out here. As soon as we're ready to start communicating that out. So, um, I'm happy to meet new people, to network, and if there's a way that I can help, please feel free to reach out.
I love it. Thank you so much, Adriana, for being on my show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adriana Minano, everybody. Hey, Dr. B, hope you enjoyed this limited edition Deals and Dreams pilot. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hope you got some insight. And remember, as Mike Lee would say, you are one big deal away from making it happen. All right, take care.